On the Newcastle theme, Andrew, Kalen Ponga, a couple of games back, you were brutal in your assessment of Newcastle's effort against Parramatta. I think many people gave the Knights a great chance to win that, but the scoreline obviously was a blowout in the end. How's the club feeling about Kalen's return, and I guess more specifically about where the team's at after that performance?
Well, I don't know. They've had a heap of time off with the bye. I think they've been given maybe the week off to go and freshen up. So I don't know.
Is that unusual after a heavy loss like that to have so much time off?
I think most clubs will put a thing at the start of the year and they'll go, righto, let's work to this, and they have work loadings, and then they'll give them a week off. So
I'm guessing by your reaction that you don't think they should be having a week off.
Well, I'm not sure if anyone really needs a full week off. Maybe it's different. It's a lot more intense these days. They train more.
You're a coach. What would you be doing after that?
Well, hey, hang on. If you're a player and you got beat by 50,
no, I couldn't go away for a week.
Wouldn't go away.
I'd go mad.
You'd be into training on Monday morning, training on your own.
Imagine having a week off during the year. That'd be.
So you'd like to see some players take a bit of personal ownership of that, and instead of going away,
of course,
work on what happened.
Of course.
On Kalen, any thoughts there?
No.
It's a shame. What do you think about his return?
Well, they were terrible last week, so he was.
Well, he's lacking confidence, obviously, coming back from the head knocks, but shouldn't be playing 5'8". Should go straight back to fullback. And then Lockie Miller's been the Knights' best player.
He said he's played halves coming up through the system. Could he play in the halves? Andrew looks frustrated.
I don't know.
What is answers a watermelon?
Answers a pineapple even.
How'd they get that saying?
I don't know, but I like it.
Gus just made it up one day, didn't he?
Did he?
He just makes things
He's good at
up.
making things up. I've got a couple of questions for you. Do you expect to be playing against David Fifita in Origin 1?
Well, I think so. I think Jeremiah Nanai, his form's been very good. So
I reckon that was the best game he's played in a couple of years on the weekend.
But I think consistently he's getting more involved. His defence is getting better. So I'd expect Nanai. Then that's sort of Kafusi's back.
Capewell.
Also, Kafusi started the series and Nanai was coming off the bench. So I'm assuming that Kafusi will go back into the team and then the next back row. But the other bloke from the Dolphins is going good.
Gilbert.
Lemuel.
No, he can't.
He can't play?
No, he's from New Zealand. I asked Billy that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, right.
What do you think for Federer?
Tom Gilbert as well.
But Gilbert would be on the other side.
He's a middle forward. I couldn't imagine him playing on an edge in Origin. I don't know if he's dynamic enough. But he's the sort of player you play in the middle.
So for Federer off the bench, Andrew, in Origin, he's a handful. He's an imposing player. And do you expect Reece Walsh or Kalen Ponga to be fullback?
Kalen will be fullback.
Still 3 weeks away, I'd say Kalen.
28 days, actually. How about that? Well, that's when you pick your team in 3 weeks.
Yeah, pick it. The Monday just gone 3 weeks, so a bit over 2.5 weeks.
And we're all looking forward to it here at Nine's Wide World of Sports. Origin 1 from Adelaide. Bring it on.
Here we go again. What a moment in Origin history.
Yes, Origin time. Best time of year. Gus says you never pick your team until the medical. I'm going to try and lure him to get him talking about Origin this week.
Gus?
He just doesn't talk about it.
Do we have medicals like they used to?
A lot of the medicals are done through their clubs, and then they come down. You'll pick the team, and you get to pick a team, and they'll come down and do a final medical with Nathan Gibbs as our doctor.
And how does the modern day medical vary from the old school medical? What would you used to do? They just used to grab your arms, you're sweet.
Well, it's funny, you know so much more about the players now than you used to. So in the old days, players would come down and if you had injuries, sometimes you wouldn't even tell you stuff because they'd modern player. So a lot of the time you're sort of hiding injuries. So the medicals are actually a lot more thorough in the old days. But now you know so much about the players. Like we have a physio who speaks to all the other physios, and you pretty much know exactly. And then also you talk about their training and what they need to do at training. So, by the time you pick them and they come in, 90% of them, you know what's happening.
Did Gibbsy get on a kangaroo tour injured? John Gibbs? Was it a knee injury?
It could have. All I know is that Wally got ruled out with
Yeah.
the broken arm. That's how I got to start.
Ruling the king out. That'd be a
I
big
know, imagine
call, eh?
That was a big call.
Well, I remember the scenes at the footy, the SFS of the king run up and down, had to hit the ground, and Nathan Gibbs and Bozo were there.
Do you have the broken arm? Coming back
Yeah,
from the
had the
broken
broken arm.
Yeah.
So you replaced the king?
I replaced the king.
Oh, how'd you feel?
Well,
Not like the king.
Well, I didn't. I wasn't thinking at the time. It was the night of the grand final. So I used to name the
Yes,
kangaroo,
of course.
the kangaroo squad on the night of the grand final. So we got beat, and I think it was sort of out of me or Brad Izzard. Really, that was the sort of that was the thing. They ended up going with me.
Well, if they'd have known the damage you'd have done to the minibar, they probably would have picked Brad Izzard
was
instead.
94.
That I used to love that after the grand final. You get the kangaroo squad name.
Yeah.
Everyone, you'd play the game, and then, I mean, I think I remember. I think in 2001, you talked about. You try to get Steve Simpson in the Australian side or something like that. I vaguely remember. In a post-match interview,
Don't know.
I think you did.
Really?
Yeah,
And
I think you got
he
picked.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
somebody
course
got
so.
picked, yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a
he
bit
did.
extra to play. Not that you need any extra motivation than winning a premiership.